we will officially jump in. Good to see you guys. Happy Thursday. Almost October. Yes. Yeah, welcome to the studio. I'm really excited to do this, a few more times with folks, to record it that it might be useful for other folks. But I wanted to, formally welcome you to the studio, to the community. I'll let you know the various things that you guys can take advantage of here and help you to find pieces, better like find pieces to bring into class, and then what to do to prepare for class. What's the best thing you can do to prepare for it, and then to take any questions that you guys have. Sounds good?
Yeah.
Good. So let's start with, this is the biggest question, is finding material for class. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what would be best for you guys to find material. Then you guys can ask me some questions, and then we can talk about some, the other parts of this. First and foremost, I want you guys to work on great writing. Okay. It's about great writing. As a next level studio, we offer the ability for you guys to actually work on your auditions, your actual auditions or your booked roles. And we also give you the option, should you want to bring something from Showfax, which is a sister site to Actors Access, because it's currently casting. That doesn't mean you're going to compete for it, or you're going to pitch for it, or you're going to submit for it. Showfax is the sister site. So I'm not a big fan of using Actors Access as an actor. I think it's a lot of wasted time for a variety of reasons, but the sister site, you can just sign up for Showfax. If you have Actors Access, you can get free access to Showfax. You can just call and connect the account. And it's most of the currently casting audition sides. And if you sort it by date, is a really good way to see, okay, this is what's currently casting. And I think you can open up about 29 or so or 30 projects a day. Now, that being said, auditioning is just traditional auditioning, where you get an audition, you go to an audition, you learn how to do it, is one way out of many to get high-level roles. Many of our community are getting into the mix for casting way before auditions even happen. So I don't want you to be it to be like an audition-centric experience. We want you to know how to guarantee a win on an audition. We want you to try many different ways of auditioning, from first read, on tape, to callbacks, to doing maybe a table read, which is you book the role, but it's still a bit of an audition, sitting at the table, reading it with the cast. But the number one is, I want you to find great writing. Your workout that you might get on a Shakespeare sonnet, or a piece of theater, or a scene from a movie or a film that you saw that you transcribed, you're going to get your best workout on that. And there are two questions that we really want you to be clear about when you bring it in, which is, what are you working on? How do you want to work on it? And who do you want to read with? But the how is that, let's say you don't have an audition, because a lot of our actors, they don't have auditions every week, and they don't have a booked role every week. But it's very important that in this next level environment that you guys say, hi, my name is Joseph, and I'm doing this as an audition, as a callback, as a booked role, scene study, which is for a booked role. And use your words to get more comfortable, to get into that place where you're going to take yourself more seriously and to expect that to happen. So I want that to be clear. Even though don't actually have an audition, you're still going to say, I want to do this as a first read audition, as a callback audition, as a producer session, or I want to do this as a scene study for a booked role. Does that make sense? Versus other studios or environments where it's like, I'm doing this for practice. I'm doing this in the safety of an acting class, in the bubble of an acting class. No, we want you guys to push outside of that comfort zone, because your words, your emotional words, create your reality. You get up there and say, I'm doing this as a booked role, you're going to get yourself closer to doing a booked role, actually, or the auditions. So you can use Showfax, but you don't have to. It's just living live material, and we're one of the few, if not only, studios that allow you to work on your actual auditions and coach you to make those choices to guarantee a win. And so you can do that if you want to, but piece of theater, you can do a past audition, you can do something that didn't work, a play. So it's important to get to know the industry, what's out there. Make a list of those things that you guys want to be a part of. Like, what are those shows that I'd like to work on? Who are those production teams? What are the movies that I want to be a part of? Bring writing from that in. You can write it down. And let's say there's a writer that you like. If you search on Google, there's a lot of unpublished work that you can access for free from some of these writers. If you just search unpublished work, Charlie Kaufman, unpublished work, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And you can find unpublished work. One of the other cool things is that Annie Chang, who is one of our faculty members, she's been doing one series regular after another. There was just a deadline feature about her. She teaches our Tuesday advanced class. Some of you may be in. And Steve, they trade off. When she's working on set, Steve will come in and teach, and he's wonderful. But Annie is assembling a Google Drive database of a lot of her past sides over the years, and we're going to send it to you guys to access that. So it'll be an additional thing. So you can access it. Just the one thing that's important is that this isn't a studio where we hand you a piece and we work on it for 4 weeks. It's a next level studio. You have a transformation or breakthrough every class. You can work on a new piece. And we want you to be able to find material that feels right and fun for you. So who cares if it's an audition? Does that make sense? Really bring anything in. And the most important thing is that it's fun for you, and it gets you excited. It's a piece that gets you excited. And you can play around with it. You can find a piece and you can just do it as a scene study. You can try one time doing it as a cold read where you have 20 minutes of prep time and then you bring that back in. So, the sky's the limit. Find great writing and bring the great writing in. I'm going to go to the other point about what is expected. So I would say pretty much 100% of this work is out loud. Your words create your reality. So even though it might feel weird, find a place where you live where you don't feel like you're being an asshole or don't give a shit whether you're being a freak, and find a place where you can talk out loud. It might be outside. It might be in an office. It might be behind closed doors in a bathroom. It doesn't matter where. It could be in a closet where you don't see anything. And that's okay. Some of our voiceover talent, the big ones, some of these big voiceover talent do their voiceovers in a closet surrounded by clothes, and they can, be as loud as they want to. But what's very important before you come into class is that you have talked this work out loud. So talk it out loud. Ask yourself out loud, what is the style? If I don't know the show, watch the show. Like I said, know your industry. Watch projects. Don't have to watch all of them. Watch 10 minutes of something. If it's not your jam, then move on to something else. But acknowledge, does this feel mostly like comedy? Is it mostly like drama? It's okay if I don't know the variations, single camera versus multi-camera versus hybrid, Disney, Nickelodeon. It's just some pieces of comedy are more bigger, faster, louder, funnier, and others are more grounded. All of them you can have a lot of fun in. And if it's a drama, is it a sci-fi piece? Is it a period piece? Does it take place today? Is it a stylized type of piece where people act different than how we act? So acknowledge the style and say it out loud. And then also say out loud, what is the idea of that character that I don't want to do? I want you guys to be very clear about what is the obvious choice? What is happening in the text that I don't have to act? How do I not want to do this? The directions at the top are the character directions. We call those action directions on a film or TV script. Or you can say stage directions on a play script. Or character description. And those are a reference point for you guys. So a lot of actors think they were their acting instructions. They're not their acting instructions, but it's maybe somewhat useful information. So ask yourself, what is the trap? What is every actor going to do? How do I not want to do this? Those character descriptions, the action directions, were never your acting instructions. Think of them as part of a writer's pitch. to help the writer show a producer what they could see. What we ultimately want to do is we want to find something in terms of a choice that nobody had even thought of yet that was better than what they originally thought. And so you're going to talk that out loud. And then you're going to go into that I am one who exercise. I really wish everybody at the studio could hear this, because there's some really important things. When you say I am one who and talk as your character, it's not about how long you do it. So don't think you have to do this for an hour or do it until it's not fun. Do it because it's fun. And I want you to talk emotionally. Anytime you're explaining in that I am one who exercise, the work isn't getting in you. So think of it like you want to be emotionalizing or the work isn't happening. So go into it with, how am I feeling? I'm feeling thrilled today. I'm feeling joy, or I'm feeling sad and petulant. Talk about how you're feeling and get right into those emotions with that I am one who. And one of the cool things that is one of the recent discoveries that, again, this is the same conversation I'd have with the master classers, is when you do the I am one who, you want to blast right into something right out of the level of consciousness of the script. Go into the character as your fantasy. Ask yourself, what would be the most reckless fantasy? It might not be in the script, and it probably isn't, but what would be amazing if I could open the door into this really cool place? Where would I be? Like, take yourself out of the script and have a fly and talk it out loud. And you can talk about that. So ask yourself that question. Start to get into then, give yourself that primal whimper, primal scream, which is, think about it like this. On any given day, we're driving or we're walking, we put our head out a window or the window of a car and just say something. It could be venting something to somebody that's in us. Primal whimper, primal scream came from Ben Kingsley. Gave this to me some years ago. He did a movie called Sexy Beast. Anybody see that movie, Sexy Beast? It's so good. It's one of his best movies. And he plays the baddest, meanest son of a bitch I've ever seen in a movie. And he said that he had this primal scream inside of him because he didn't play him like a bad person. He said that primal scream was, I have so much love to give. I've had so much love to give, but nobody gives it back to me. And it drives me nuts. So the primal whimper, primal scream was from his heart. And he said, I love you. Why the fuck can't you love me back? And it caused him to misbehave, and pee on the wall and kill people and do crazy things. So speak it out loud. None of this requires any thought. Then start to open up your other characters. Who are the other people in the scene? Maybe now I see, there's something I might see in the scene that I didn't notice. There's like a fish tank, or I have a feeling for the space. And ask yourself who everybody is. Bare bones relationship. Be specific, not just he's my friend. No, he's my best friend, my mother, brother, lover, sister, friend, dog. I've known them for how long? 2 years, 1 year, 3 months. And then ask yourself how you feel about them and get emotionally specific. Get a thesaurus app. The thesaurus app is going to take something like, I like him, and it's going to take you into something like, he makes me happy, joy or love or attraction. Here are 5 questions to ignite emotional relationship. 1, do I trust them? 2, ask yourself, do I respect them? 3, ask yourself, do I love them? 4, am I in love with them? And 5, am I attracted to them? And it's going to get you sort of sparked up, and then you move on to the next person. And then we go to painting the picture out loud, all within minutes, you guys. No suffering involved in this. And if you have 10, 20 minutes before class, you can do this. If you have 3 minutes, you can do some of this work. And start to use your body and talk out where you are in time and space. Put yourself on set. And then we get into, what happened of most emotional significance before, all talked out loud. And then we get into, what is that intention objective? But we call it action in the moment because it's next level work. We next level that concept of intention objective. So it's not, what am I trying to get from Crystal? What do I want to do to Crystal? What do I want? Think of action in the moment, you guys, as Brianna. Is it Brianna or Brianna? Do you prefer?
It's Brianna.
Brianna, thank you. So Brianna, it's like, what is Brianna doing to me? What do I want to do to Brianna? What do I need or want? Does that make sense? Intention objective is multidimensional. It's not just, what am I trying to get from somebody? What am I trying to do? Think of an action like to amuse, okay? To amuse. You can have the action intention to amuse Brianna. I could also be amused by Brianna. Everything Brianna does amuses me. Or I could have the need to amuse Brianna, or the need to be amused by Brianna. See how every intention objective can be expressed in 4 ways. To punish, or I am punished by, I feel punished, or I have the need to punish, or I have the need to be punished. So you talk it out loud, and then finally, that hook comes about. Maybe it's in an inspiring moment in the I am one who. That hook comes from this burst of inspiration you have. Okay, if that were me in this situation, filled up with this, in this room, next to this person, with the need to amuse them or punish them, what would I say? And then all the training falls off, and out pops something of a hook. I'd say, fuck off, or sit down, or kiss me, or I love you, or something powerful, but it's your version of it. And again, it's a lot of work, but it's not necessarily a lot of time. So talk it out loud. Just do the I am one who, if that's all that you have the time to do. But we really want you to come to class with some of this work, living in your body. And if we want to get really advanced with this, because I know you guys, I know this is, I want you to get this now versus 3 months down the road, is some of the best hooks come from this place where we have everything. We may have a really good hook. We know where we are, but then we have the bravery to say, where do I really want to be with this person? Oh, I actually really want to be at the beach. Or I really want to be back when I was a kid in a swimming pool with my dad or my mom. When you take yourself out of the scene and you're in a whole other level of consciousness, and then you connect to that person and say the things and feel the things you really want to say, and then go into the scene, it's like magic. I'll tell you guys, that's where some of the biggest success is happening outside of these class environment, where those are the choices that are winning in the audition room and on set, where you can, as Einstein said, solve a problem using another level of consciousness. So I want to open up to you guys, because I want you guys to really maximize your experience. One of the things that I encourage you to do is to connect with the folks in here. You're not required, just like you're going on set. This isn't an acting class where we make you guys rehearse with each other. No, in the professional world, you don't have the opportunity in film and TV to sit down and rehearse with your partner in the way that some of these scene study classes go, or acting conservatories go. But it's very beautiful how members of this community support each other. They'll read with each other. They'll ask questions. They'll sort of coach each other in a way with questions, not suggestions. We don't give you suggestions. That robs you of your best work. We ask you questions here. We always want to hear from you. We always want to know how your experience is. One, it is of utmost importance that this is the safest possible space for all of you to share the things that you want to share. If there's to be able to work on the things you want to work on. If you're touching on something that you think has the potential in the writing or the work to hurt another member of this community, we want to hear about it in the beginning in terms of a trigger warning. Let everybody know, hey, we're going to be touching on some territory here, not because we're going to back off of it or dull the blade. No, we're going to go full into it. But we want to give somebody the right that didn't show up at the beginning of class wanting to hear that. So this is powerful work. We never want it to be used as a portal or a vehicle to hurt another member of the community. So if there's something you wanted to share at the beginning, share it, and it gives someone a right to maybe tune out. And they might not want to sit through a scene about domestic violence or racism, or, and just because we're doing a scene that might touch on some of those issues, in no way does that mean that that's what the actor, it's like we solve the problems of how to play deeply troubled, dark, destructive, evil people in a way that may be counterintuitive to how you think we would. Does that make sense? It doesn't mean that you have to feel those feelings. It means that there's a way in for you, and we want to find it using another level of consciousness. So I want this to be a safe space, and I want you to communicate with us if you ever feel unsafe for some reason, which we don't expect you to do. But I am here for you. We are here as a team to support you, and we want you to succeed. So I think that was everything. I may have said I wanted to talk about something else, but I really want to hear from you guys and to hear any questions. The really big question is the one of I don't want you getting stressed about your material. Does that make sense? Use the show facts if you want to, but just know that you might find a lot of shit on it one week and it might not speak to you. So go grab a play, or look for some unpublished work, or dip into the scene database that Annie will share with us at some time. Anyway, just thank you guys for being here, and I want to take some questions. And yeah, I want to go to Prairie. Hey, Prairie. Yeah, go for it.
Hello, Mr. Perlman.
Just Joseph. Just Joseph.
Hello, Joseph. It's nice
Thank
to meet you.
You too.
I think you're an excellent teacher. I like what you say about fun. How you say that fun is. I mean, you emphasize fun, and I think that's great because it seems like maybe this, and maybe a person gets into when they can get into character easier when they're having fun. They can really make it look like they're not acting when they're acting the best when they're having fun, that kind of stuff.
Yes.
And I think that's great. And also, I wondered, what exactly do you mean by hook? Does that mean when the person is getting into the character good?
It's a very good question. So I'm going to explain that concept. Yes, we talk about it all the time, prioritizing fun. Here's the other thing too, which is important. Let's say you're doing a piece and you're doing a run through. We want to practice what it's like to have fun, not to not have fun. So if you're not having fun, stop the piece. Some classes just you ding the end bell of the scene multiple times and then you feel like you got a good workout. No. We want to have a workout on the support of fun all the time, even in the darkest of dark. So in order to practice what it's like to have fun, not to not have fun, if you're not, stop and let the coach work with you. Whoever that one of our family members that we've been working with here for years, let that coach work with you. So stop. That being said, I'm going to put some videos into the chat. There's some of my favorite video links, and one is a deep dive into the hook, into what that hook is, but I'm going to explain it in a nutshell, what that is in just a second for you guys, as soon as I pop open Great. So think of a hook as this. And I'm going to put those video links in there right now. And one is on the hook. And I'd love you guys. These are some of my favorite videos. And some of you may have seen them in the audit as well, too. But there's one on the hook. And just bookmark them for later. The difference between good and great is, are you starting every scene, honestly, every life interaction that's important to you, but every scene emotionally lit up and full instead of empty? Think of acting as, before I walk in the door, I'm going to use a bellows. It's that, the tool that blows on the ember, and it's an emotional ember, and we're blowing on an emotional ember in our body until it gets red emotionally. But we start acting and we open the door, we throw that bellows out, and we walk in, and anything can happen. We don't drag the emotion or smear it through the scene. So the hook is the thing that makes it so you don't have to act. Think of a hook as a booster rocket. It lights you up. It's the start of the scene. Think of another image as you're mixing something emotional in a bucket, and you get to the top of a mountain and you dump it off at the top of the mountain. Once that mixture releases from the bucket, you can't control it. It's going to go down the mountain a different way every time. Think of a hook like this. I'm cut off in traffic, or somebody bumps into me in the street and there's a red surge that comes up my stomach, up my chest, and inside my body I'm saying, what the fuck? But I might say, hey, I roll up on them, hey, you having a good day? But I really mean, what the, the hook, it's not acting technique. That's what's cool about this. It's how we actually work. Here's an example. I was working with an actor, and she was feeling a connection to the people she was talking to at a bar, and it felt like it was constricting, like they were shoving something down her throat that she didn't want. And I said, if you could say something, what would it be? And she put her hands out and she said, back off, back off. And I said, go into it. Now, when she goes into it, she doesn't put her arms down and have a scene. No, that is the start. So the back off, that's how you do your first line. Does that make sense? Makes sense? It's the booster rocket into the first moment of the piece. So the hook is how you, it's your start. It's not your prior moment. It's your start. It's the emotional momentum going into the piece, lifting the sail up, catching the wind. And when the boat moves forward, the sail comes down and you don't have to do anything. It's the way to keep the acting pollution free of any technique. We don't want any training in the acting. We want to just be able to be free. Okay. So the hook is that instant access to a full emotional light up. The best hooks are under 5 words. You see, like back off. You know what I'm saying? It's got to have its test in someone else. It's not just a feeling you have. It could be something that you're taking yourself to task for. Get off your ass, or kiss her, or something that you're plugging into somebody else. Does that make sense? The hook is an emotional attitude under 5 words, and it has a root in the body. A piece of music can spark a hook. And some of the best hooks are Daniel Day-Lewis, who's one of my favorite actors, uses music. He did a role, the Butcher role in Gangs of New York, and he used Eminem, the musician, to light himself up to the power of that role, to jack himself up to that power of the Butcher role. So you cannot, the last thing I'll say about the hook, and please watch the video I put in chat, is you can't figure out your hook in the text. You can't think what's going to be my hook, because it's going to run 100 miles an hour away from you. You got to discover it. You're going to fall into it. You're going to tip off balance, and it's going to tap you on the shoulder, you know? So don't go thinking for what's my hook. Go into that I am one who exercise. Start emotionalizing. You can explain something, put the explaining down, and get to emotionalizing. And then get to that character's fantasy, that blast out of the reality of the scene, and what would be the most reckless fun fantasy if you could open the door, kick the door open, or gently open, into that space. And the cool thing is we can do this for ourselves in the mindset part of the work. And that's one of the videos I put in the chat for you guys. So longish answer and a great question, Prairie. Thank you for that great question. I'm going to take some other of your questions. I really appreciate you guys being here. And yeah, and I know we're going a little over, but I think this is really, really important. I think it's important for those of you who are just starting at the studio to sort of know, one, hey, like to let you guys know that this has to be the safest space that it possibly can be to do this work. To know what's expected, what should you prepare. Stay away from some of the monologue books, some of the, don't go to writing that doesn't inspire you. You could choose whatever you want, honestly. I don't care where it's from. Just use writing that inspires you. So let's take a couple of the questions. Let's go to Crystal. Crystal, hi there. Tell everybody who you are, please, Crystal.
Hello. Yes, my name is Crystal. I am a Scorpio.
Hey, Crystal.
And
tell everybody what class you're in, too. And I'll get back to Perry, too, to hear that.
Monday Foundations. So with Alex.
Great.
Quite a delight so far.
Good. He's terrific. Everybody, they're all terrific. I have a question or a thought on some of this stuff.
Yes, my question
Please.
is, so I'm actually more curious about you because you have quite an extensive background. You went to Tisch, you did the Royal, I think, Academy in London, like
RADA, yeah,
so
certificate.
And you've worked with such a multitude of actors. This idea of the hook and the way you approach, like, I'm curious, how did you develop this? Because is it from a certain like school? Because it's not necessarily like Stanislavski or Meisner or this and that. I'm just curious, at your method and how this came about.
This is like a really good question. It's almost like I asked you to feed this question to me. It was so perfect, but I'll be short about it. It's a great question, Crystal. This work, the level that it's at, has evolved because of the power and talent and amazingness of this community. We are pushing the outer edge. And I'm currently teaching this to graduates of NYU Tisch right now to next level their game after graduation. It came from all my experience. It mostly came from who I am as a human being, but it came from all the technique and the training. The biggest influence on me was a man named Jeff Corey, who after all the training, I came to Los Angeles and I auditioned for a man I got in touch with him. Somebody introduced him. It was a godmother of mine back in Boston who's a flute player, Paula Robeson. She's an amazing flute player. And she had a friend in Malibu and Los Angeles, Jeff Corey. And Jeff Corey was a character actor. One of the most famous character actors in the industry. He was in all the John Wayne movies as the bad guy. He played the sheriff in Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. And he was blacklisted, which is he fought for his country and he was blacklisted and he couldn't work, and it was very emotional, and he moved with his family to Canada. And when he could finally come back, John Wayne gave him his first role. When he came back, he started teaching, and he taught above his garage in Malibu, and he started teaching actors, and he came from a group theater background, but his primary influence was Michael Chekhov. And there's a great book called Michael Chekhov on the Technique of Acting to the Actor. I recommend it. It's just called Michael Chekhov, Chekhov, to the Actor on the Technique of Acting. And he started working with a young James Dean, coaching him for Rebel Without a Cause, young Jack Nicholson, Steven Spielberg, helping Steven Spielberg to work with actors. Cher, Robin Williams worked with John F. Kennedy, Lloyd Benson for those famous debates. And he just happened to just teach while he was acting. And I landed in his class, and Sean Penn would come in and out of the class when I was there. And it was amazing. It was a small group. That's what got me into the small group stuff, not pairing everybody does their own work. You can work with a scene partner, but you're responsible for your own work. And it was the first time I ever saw this happen. Jeff was almost like put a screwdriver to the performance and helped to tighten it. So the actors had a transformation or a breakthrough every single time they got up, in the form of finding that hook in their body. Jeff would do something called, I'm going to give you some dialogue to prime the pump. So he would give you a little bit of an improvisation. You would take that and then make it your own. I didn't want to do that because I want your great work to be entirely your own inspiration. So I'm asking you questions to needle you, to prod you, to push you, but I'm not giving you what I think the solution is, because it's going to rob you of your best version. But it was amazing what I learned from Jeff. And I started learning how he worked with the actors, and we got into these deep conversations. And so that was, of all the training I had, which was great training, that was the best training. It was such a surprise because it was after what I thought the official training was. I graduated from these schools and I should be. No, there was a whole other level of it. And so that experience and the love of working with actors before that and during that, I worked at a small boutique studio, and we had a young Zooey Deschanel, Amy Adams, Ryan Reynolds, Sherry Shepard, and a host of other actors, multi-Grammy nominated Skylar Grey, and we all just kind of came up together. We all got better, and just sort of word of mouth, and more folks heard about what we were doing and that it was different, but mostly the actors were getting results. And then the studio built around that. And I would say that it is a technique that is uniquely your own. We're helping you guys to be the creators of your own techniques, using some incredible technical building blocks, but valuing and honoring the personality of the actor. Jeff Corey always said it, 9/10 of the performance, 90% of your character is your personality. So you have everything it takes. And I would imagine that the folks in the community who were doing this work felt valued and honored, that their personality, their uniqueness wasn't being stripped away from them, but was being like fed. No, let's bring that out. We want more of that. We're not playing yourself, but it's your version of it. You're pressing your personality through the garlic press of the character, or you're pressing the character through the garlic press of your personality, however you want to see it. So it developed, and the place it's at right now, where we're, it is the most sort of fun, next level, advanced place it's ever been, where actors are bringing this onto set as leads in Apple series, and all sorts of incredible things are happening with this. It is a result of the community. We're all pushing the outer edge of what's next, like discovery. And I'll tell you, what's at that outer edge are these opposite choices. The opposite choices, when you do the work and you solve the puzzle, it's having the bravery to rip the puzzle from the roots up to reveal a face that was on the underside that nobody ever saw. And the producers, when they see this and the casting, they're like, oh my God, it wasn't at all what we were looking for. It's better. Thank you for being the only one willing to do that. So it is a community effort and it's a practice. And I think, well, I know that I don't have a fixed idea about this. I'm open. Every time I work with one of you, I learn something different and it gets better and better and better. And we all get better and better and better. And we do it together as a community. So it's a great question, Crystal. I didn't want to talk that much, but I want to let you guys know where this comes from. But it's it mostly is, a lot of this is a pushback in my own life, in my own career, especially in academia, where people are trying to get you to, for lack of a better word, conform, comply, push you into their ideas of what they think you should be. And I always had this heartbeat, this drumbeat of fuck off inside of me. I didn't want it. I knew that I wanted my version. Yes, I get it. I get there's these things I need to learn, but there always was this, I was pushing back off of something. Pushing back, this isn't the only way. There's got to be something that feels more true to me and authentic for me. And so there's something of a rebellious nature, was and is in me in pushing back against people trying to put you in these boxes and to niche you or to type you or to say you're this or you're that, or, it's like, fuck you. You don't know who I am. I might be that, but I might not be that. And so having that attitude in this environment is a real win, because it's the person with that attitude that consistently stands out, and both on set and in an audition. And I'm lucky that my 5.5-year-old daughter has a little bit of that as well too, to the point where I'm just like, oh my God, help me. I want to get to some of your other questions here, you guys. It's lovely to hang out with you. And you know what? We may be doing this more often. I really want you to feel supported. I want you to start this experience and just be wondering what's expected, and especially with regards to the pieces. So thank you, Crystal. Prairie, tell everybody what class you're in, by the way, because I wanted to make sure that everyone heard that. Tell everybody which class you're starting in. And unmute. Oh, you're still muted. I can come back to you in a second. Yeah, there you go, Prairie. Which class are you in?
Yeah, I'm in the class with Alex.
Yeah.
I've been there for 2 weeks, and
Beautiful.
It's very good. I'm very excited about what I'm going to do next week. He told me to do another, it's a little dialogue, but mostly monologue.
Good.
So I'm going to, if you guys let me, I'm going to do the Braveheart Vegas scene where he,
Good, dude.
he rallies the troops.
We'll let you, because of what it's going to do to you emotionally. Absolutely. Of course. Cool,
Yeah,
Perry.
I love that one. I love that scene.
Thank you. We're going to do a roundtable, by the way, in the next couple of weeks with not all of our coaches, with Matt, with Annie, with Alex, Steve, and me. We're going to do a roundtable discussion so you guys can get to know the team a little better and hear, what the work has done, in their careers, and just to have a conversation to get to know everybody better. Let's go to Sarah. Sarah, tell everybody who you are and what membership you're in. Hey, Sarah.
Hi, everyone. My name is
Sarah.
Sarah. I am and I am taking Alex's foundation class right now.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah. So my question was more so about the classes and how to go from, or what is required, I guess, to go from the foundation class to one of the advanced classes. And then also you were mentioning the perks of an orchestra membership.
Yes. Thank you.
How, I guess, maybe the link to the Zooms for that, to either be able to, are we able to sit in on?
So this is a good question. So orchestra member, that's the benefit of Balcony. Balcony has an unlimited watch pass. They're not presenting work in class or coaching on work. They have an unlimited watch pass. They're members of our studio. They can come to any event. That's for Balcony. And it's an unlimited watch pass. You can have a conversation. You can join, be a reader if you want to be a reader. Just let your class know that you want to be a reader. Let them know that you're you want to do that in the beginning of class. Otherwise, people don't necessarily know. Orchestra membership, you have your regular class, you get your workout, but you still have unlimited free access to our PAA Asia Masterclass, where we literally are working with some of the biggest stars, international stars, including writers, directors, producers, Amazon Studios, casting executives. It is amazing. And so, we have the star of Apple TV's Invasion in that class, Shioli. And some of the stars of Netflix's Giri Haji, and some of the biggest casting director in the Asian market. And they're all working with US actors as well, too. So we work on one sort of celebrity level actor performance a week. It's an hour and a half to 2 hours. And you will always get the link to that. If you don't, let Rachel know. Always make sure you have a fresh link, because the links will refresh every now and then. So just check your emails. And we have select events. Like, we're going to have an event with a headshot photographer that'll be studio wide. We're going to have some virtual happy hour type of events. We'll have some movement events, guest speaker events, and you'll be invited to those events as they come up throughout the year. So balcony is an unlimited watch pass. Orchestra, even though some actors do orchestra and balcony. And so as an orchestra member, you have unlimited access to the PAA Asia Masterclass, which is an incredible industry event. You can introduce yourself if you haven't. You can come to that. With regards to where you're starting, because every time you come in, we're working with you at your level. It is essentially a private coaching session in a class setting. You're going to be pushed to your limit, whatever class you're in. We want actors to learn how to do this work, to learn how to prepare for class, to feel this. If after a couple class cycles, we usually like actors to, we don't want to have, I guess, what's called as class hoppers, not at our studio, but actors that, they jump around, but they don't really dig into one particular thing. So I would say, if you're in a class, we'd like actors to do 3 consecutive cycles, and then we can have a conversation. If you're in a class and you feel like, okay, I'd like to level up in terms of where the other actors are at in their careers, that's something that we can have a conversation about. If you're feeling that there's something, you're in a class and you want to be in a more advanced environment, please check in with us and we can have that conversation with you. But settle in for a cycle or 2 or 3, see how it's feeling. Have that experience of having that breakthrough, working on those sides. And then, it's kind of fluid. Like, we want everybody to be in the right class environment for them. Check in with us. And then we can have that conversation about getting you into a more advanced class, or ultimately into one of my, more advanced classes. But I would say communicate with us. What we don't want is to have somebody who's just starting and learning this in a class where the other actors are hitting the ball at a really fast Olympic level. We want everybody to be able to push everybody else, to their limit. So we want everybody at a certain same level in these classes. So in other words, Sarah, communicate with us. Let us know how it's feeling, at the end of your cycle. What was I going to say? Yeah, it's one of those things that we kind of do it by feel. I don't want you in an environment where you're feeling out of place. But the way the classes are structured, you're going to get your best workout every time you come in. But we also want you inspired by the rest of the community, as well too. It's a really, really good question. So stay communicating with us about it. Okay.
Okay, I will.
Sure. Yes. I want to take some more of these are great questions. Terrell, great to see you. Terrell, tell everybody who you are and which class you're in.
Hello.
Hey, Terrell, great to see you.
I've been a member for 2 weeks. I'm part of the foundation class with Matt on Tuesdays.
Cool, great. That class, man, there's like a wait list on that class now. It's crazy. It's a good time. Yeah, and any questions or thoughts about some of the stuff we're talking about?
Yeah, first of all, I just wanted to say how in love with this, I don't want to use the word method because it's attached to something else, but this
I thank you.
way of living that's sort of like greater than acting. Like, now that I'm actually a part of it and not just an auditor anymore, I'm just grown even more in love with what I'm a part of and this community that everyone is forming. It feels great.
I'm really
So
happy to hear this. Thank you for letting me know.
my
Yeah,
question is,
please.
for someone who's a new actor and doesn't have work every week or whatever, um,
Thank you,
I don't
Sam.
want to go to class and then feel the breakthrough, as you call it, and then have to wait a few days or a week to come back. Like
Yeah,
I want to
that's great.
stay ignited and
Yeah.
fuel my love consistently. So, what would you recommend for someone to sort of stay in their game and stay sharp for for the times that they're not in class?
It's a beautiful question. And thank you very much. I'm just so happy because we want you guys to have an awesome experience, the best experience you could possibly have in a community. And if you're not, we want to know about it. So I'm very happy to hear that. This is a deeply loving family and community, first and foremost. We do not want a bad seed in class. We want everybody here is drawn to each other because we believe very similar things about the work and what's really important, and that it all comes from love and that we prioritize fun. This is a great question. One of the things I would recommend is that mindset work, is the video of the mindset work that I have in the chat. It's called How to Be Confident in Auditions on Backstage. It's a free YouTube video. You can do that work out loud on your own. It's kind of a self-guided tour. But that being said, if you want to stay lit up, because just getting the adjustment, okay, of we can't wait for the results of our success to feel happy and empowered. We have to feel it a lot. We have to feel it now. When you get there every week and you blast that emotional stuff out of your bodies out loud, you are bringing waves of synchronicity, waves of opportunity into you. You're putting so much out there in a beautiful way. Actors start to get tapped on the shoulders and pulled into things just because of the level of fun, love, passion that they're putting out of their bodies every week. And we want it all the time. And there are folks here that do it because it's the best drug in the world, feeling like this. So what you can do, Terrell, is you can pick a different character. You can work on one character maybe in between the class, or you can work on a different character every day and work through. You don't have to perform the scene. You don't have to put the scene on tape. You can if you want to, but work through that, because the work is not about effort. It's about impact. Get into an I am one who on a different character. Start talking it out loud. The more you can find a space and take the time to talk something out loud, even if it's only for 3 minutes or 10 minutes a day, it's awesome, because you're going to be lighting yourself up. So you can, like I said, you can use that mindset video to do the work on yourself if you want to do it, but grab another role in between. You may work on 3 or 4 roles between class and then pick one that's the most fun for you and actually bring that one into class to take it to a whole other level. But you don't have to set a goal like I'm going to work on a different piece every day. Just work on doing the work on a different piece. Does that make sense? Whether you perform it or not isn't the point. It's putting that work in your body. So some of the most powerful work is the I am one who. So what you can do to make it really fun is grab a character that you think is fun, read that script, and just start on the I am one who exercise. Get into a space where you can talk out loud and say, I am one who is feeling powerful and joyful, or sad or hurt, and start to talk that process out loud. And in fact, you can go through all the questions similar to the questions that you hear in class. So find as many opportunities, Terrell, to talk different characters out loud, because you're going to get stretched and pulled in different directions. The other thing that I want you guys to think about too is when you get a role is ask yourself, what work can I take off my plate? What can I personally relate and identify with? And don't feel it's limited to your lives, because we're these human infinite beings, animals, beings, and we can relate and infinitely relate to a lot of stuff that we haven't experienced. You guys know what I mean? It's like, I don't know why I can connect to that. I just can. So what you can do is you can actually take work off of your plate. What do I just get? Philip Seymour Hoffman would do this. He would write out these 2 boxes, box A and box B. And in box A, these are all the things I get and I don't have to act. Box B are all the things that I don't know what that level of cruelty to do that to someone else or something else is, I'm going to have to bring myself, I'm going to have to ask myself, under what conditions would it be possible to feel that? So take work off your plate and talk out loud and do those I am one who exercises every day if you want to keep that feeling going, Terrell. Is that useful?
Very much. Yeah.
Good.
Thank you.
Yeah. And also, don't try to hold on to any of this stuff. Like, blast it out. That's the fun of it. When you do a hook, you blast it out and then you let it go. Because when you start acting, it's just, I'm lit up on fun or love or anger. And then I go into act and it's just blank canvas. I don't know what Sarah's going to do. Sarah doesn't know what I'm going to do. Moment by moment, talking and listening. That fire might get put out. It might transmute. It might change in some way. So yeah, you think about it. Think about it like that. But there's a beautiful poem I share in some of the backstage videos from Baudelaire. It's Living Life Lit Up. And the gist of the poem is be always drunken in life. Drunk on what? Drunk on love, drunk on wine, drunk on food, drunk on, joy, drunk on happiness. I'm not endorsing substance abuse. I'm just saying this is towards living life emotionally lit up. And we don't need substances to do it. We need nothing but the present moment. A space where we can talk because we pull magic and wonder out of our bodies. So whenever you find yourself in your own life or outside of class and you're not lit up, hear the universe. This is the gist of the Baudelaire, but hear the universe saying it is the time to be drunken, to be lit up emotionally. So live life lit up. And that's what the talking out loud does that. You talking that light into you. You're talking the character into you. And we're realizing that all of that light and power was always a part of you. We're just clearing the way for it. We're all connected by that, by that infinite power, that infinite love, light. We're just like, let's clear out the bullshit and let that thing blast out of our bodies. So what you're finding, don't think that it isn't like endogenous to you. It's part of you guys. It's a part of who you are as human beings. Does that make sense? So we're just finding a way for it to blast out. Yeah, I want to get to some of your other questions. Then we'll let me make sure I didn't. If you had a question and I accidentally unraised your hand, Brianna, please. Hi, Brianna.
I'm Brianna, and I am in Tuesday foundation class with Sorel and Ashira and Liat,
Cool.
and a bunch of other people who aren't here.
Yeah.
Sarah actually asked one of my questions, but I had another question that came to mind.
Sure.
What happens if you take a cycle off? Can you come back in and jump into the same class? Or is it just kind of like, well, you have to wait till something's available?
Sure. We're done with you. No, of course, that's the fun thing. No, we don't. I personally don't. This community was built on things that I personally don't. I don't like to be held down by any institution. I don't like to be locked in. That's why we're month by month. We've had actors here for over 10 years. As long as you're getting results outside of here and finding something new every week, people tend to stay a part of our community. We want you to get to work and then come back. So how it works is this. Because we have wait lists throughout the year, we will bring someone in to fill that space, but you will have priority. We recommend pre-registering. If you pre-register and let us know the date you want to come back, it makes it very, very easy. And we can hold that date for you. We will give you priority on that wait list if you have already been here. Does that make sense? So let's say we have a big wait list of auditors who are trying to get in. We will let you guys have priority over folks that have never been here before because we know who you are as a community. We know that we want people that are going to create the safest possible environment and are just the most inspired, best people that we can imagine. So you get priority on it. It's a leave of absence, but you do lose your spot and it might be a little bit to get back in. But like I said, you will have priority on the wait list. It's best if you can pre-register, which is you pay for your space knowing that you want to come back in. Like here's sort of a similar, what one of the actors did. Hey, listen, this next cycle, I have this thing going on. I don't want to lose my space. I want to come back in the very next cycle. She pre-registered, and then we can guarantee that she will start somewhere right around there. And we're pretty accurate with that. So just let us know, register for that spot, and then that's the best way to make sure you can get right back into it. Yeah?
Yeah, and then do the same coaches stick with the same slot every cycle, or does it sometimes change?
This is a really good question. Sometimes we do like a round robin. Sometimes we'll do a little switcheroo. But yes, typically they kind of stay with it. Just like Annie, it's cool. In Annie's Tuesday advanced class, she's on set. Steve will jump in, and then sometimes Steve will cover. And so we'll kind of, sometimes I'll even jump in there at the beginning and be part of a conversation, or maybe even cover a class. But yes, the same teachers stay in those class spaces, but these are professional. I mean, Alex is a filmmaker, Alex, and it's like, and Annie has got 4 series regulars this year. And it's so we want you to have the highest level teachers that we possibly can have. These are actors that have used this work to get to these incredible places in their lives and work. And we want to keep them plugged in because they want to be plugged in. So yes, the same teachers will teach the same classes, but because of scheduling on their end, we could have another teacher fill in for some time. But typically, I'd say throughout the year, it's typically the same teachers, unless one of the teachers is off, like on a series regular, and then Steve will come in, and Steve's incredible. Like, we want Steve to teach a full-time class, but he runs a casting studio, and like he's so busy with so many other things. So yes, you'll have the same teacher, unless you move to a different class. Brianna, is that? Yeah.
Yes, very helpful.
Yeah, but we also, it's important to, and Annie believes this as well too, is that we kind of, you experience this work from different people. It's the same work, but from the different perspectives of the teachers. So it is important to get a bit of that variety, but we do want you not having a different teacher every week. That's not something we would do. But teachers are subject to change pending their schedules. But for the most part, it's fairly stable. Yeah. I'm going to go to Ashira. Ashira, hello. Tell everybody who you are and which class you're in. And then we'll end the conversation after this, but we'll continue. This will be part of a continued series, but I do want the other members of the classes to hear this because, it's important to get sort of oriented when you come here. Ashira, tell everybody your name and which class you're in.
Well, first of all, I might say it like less Hebrewish-ish than you did.
Well, you can say it however you want to. You told me how to say your name. I'm going to say your name the way you
It's just kind of
say
funny.
it. Yeah.
Shira is my name. I am in the Tuesday class with Ro and Brianna. I switched the order because, well, I was going to say Brianna and Terrell, but then I thought, anyway, I won't explain that.
Okay.
Try to explain the goings on in my mind. But and Mia, but she's not live. I don't see her. Anyway, so what I was wondering, okay, is like, as we talked about, I really love Japanese stuff, and like it was so great to get to go to that class.
Oh, I'm so happy you got to experience that class. If you guys haven't been, please come to it, at least to just meet the community and connect with the filmmakers there. Yeah, good. I'm glad you came. Thank you.
Yeah, but so what I'm wondering is, can somebody who is into Japanese, I mean, obviously I know there are people who aren't Japanese who do things in acting in Japan, but I'm wondering if someone not Japanese could ever be in that class.
Say again, you mean like performing in the class?
Yeah, like taking part, like.
Well, yeah, I mean, so absolutely. We want, that's a class where it's almost like, I'm trying to think of it. It's kind of like, it's a demonstration of the work where we're working only one person per class. Typically, we'll work with members of the Japanese community, but we'll also bring some members in on our end. So let us know. You can send us an email if you want to. We want the actors to be at a certain level, which is why you're at our studio. Like you're at our studio to get to that level. And so we do bring actors in from the other non-Japanese side sometimes. So just send an email to Rachel and let her know your interest in doing that. And then at some point we can have a conversation about, your readiness and rightness to be able to do that. And that is a possibility at some point. My friend, partner in the PAA Asia is Eugene Nomura, producer, Amazon casting exec, actor. He's in Free Guy as an actor. He's in Michael Mann's Tokyo Vice. He's producing some of the biggest projects in Asia with Amazon now. He is the person that coordinates who's going. So what I would do is I would let him know anybody that might be interested in doing that, and he curates that particular thing. The value of it is obviously connecting with the community. of major filmmakers, writer, director, producers. Eugene's mother is the biggest casting director in Asia. And she, again, these people work on projects. They're some of the biggest Netflix, Amazon, Showtime, HBO, projects that are going on right now that they're producing. So it's kind of like a back door to a whole other level of the industry that most folks in the US and
Did he freeze for everyone?
if you haven't, I mean, showing up on time is important, but showing up in the beginning to introduce yourself, and then for people to get to know you, being there somewhat frequently, then the people there that are filmmakers get to know you. It's a real family. This has been something that we've been working on for, I don't know, almost 10 years now. Eugene, we became friendly, and he would bring some of the Academy Award level actors from Japan. They would fly to Los Angeles to work with me on projects in preparation for their shoot. But then something really cool happened where these actors were getting some of the biggest roles in the US, and we were bridging the gap between these two cultures and communities. And now it's like the door has been blasted open. Like Shioli is the lead in Invasion right now, and on and on. And these, so the experience is watching the work, asking questions, introducing yourself, and then let Rachel know if you would like to work. And at some point, if that's something that both Eugene and I feel would be good, then we'll invite you in to do that. But just keep showing up and introducing being a part of it. Okay, Ashira?
Yeah.
Ashira. It's a beautiful name, however you say it.
Actually, it's Ashira.
I can't do that. Ashira. My wife can do it. She's Austrian and can do that thing, and I can't do that somehow. Anyway. Hey, you guys, this is cool. Liat, good to see you. Thanks for hanging out with us. It looks beautiful out there. My gosh, it's very fall-like. Hey, I hope this was useful. I had a lot of fun actually doing this, and I'm kind of relieved because I'm really glad that you guys sort of know what the deal is. And the big question was really about, I don't know what to choose or what piece do I choose. So don't stress it. Go with what's fun. It doesn't matter what it is. Grab a piece of Shakespeare, grab a piece of Sam Shepard. Go pick a play scene. If you want to pick from Showfax, do it. Pick something from Showfax, but just because it speaks to you, And don't worry, you don't need the character descriptions, because that's just, as we said earlier, it can be a distraction. Just focus on great writing, have fun, and stop if it's not fun, and let your coach, whoever that is, guide you back into the fun of it. And then you're going to make the most of your experience to have impact with less effort. Okay? Yeah. Cool, you guys. Like, this could be like its own class. We could just rock and roll with a freaking, have like a, Thursday afternoon at 12 p.m. class. All right, you guys. Have a beautiful weekend, because it's almost a week. And if you're balcony, we're having a master class tonight. Should you guys, because you showed up here in person, should you guys want to actually come and watch tonight's class? And this is just for you guys who are in here tonight. Email Rachel, let her know that Joseph invited me to watch masterclass, and you guys can come watch the work tonight if you'd like to come watch the work tonight. Okay? Just to thank you guys for showing up in person. And if you didn't show up in person, it's okay. We still love you. You're going to get to watch this. I've spotlighted myself so you guys can hear this. And we will do this another time again to take more questions. But by the way, there is another free thing that we have for the whole studio. The first Monday of every month, I've opened it up. We've opened it up to, it's our PAA strategy group. This master strategy group, it was only for actors that have taken the Launch Your Career program with me, but now we've opened it up to the whole studio for you guys. It's every Monday, the first Monday of every month at 12 Pacific, 3 Eastern. So next Monday we'll have one. And we're going to be dialing in the actors that have done that work with me. We're going to talk about how their pitches are going, building relationships with writer, directors, producers before casting. And we're going to be taking questions from the whole community. So it is another fun, free event for the community that'll be on Monday, and Rachel will send you an email. Okay? Yeah, so come to that. Come to class tonight.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
Thank
Hey,
you.
You're welcome. See you guys. See you soon. Have a beautiful
Bye,
day.
everyone.
Take care.
Bye.
Thank you. Aww,
See you
so sweet.
Tuesday.
My daughter taught me how to do that properly. I was like, oh.
Ah, good daughter. Good daughter.
See you tonight or Monday.
Bye.